The unspoken bond of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. In the luminous universe of Chinese drama, where every scene is carefully painted and every smile rehearsed for perfection, there are moments when fiction dares to become something more. Moments when a story written for the screen begins to breathe beyond the camera's frame. Among all the pairings that have graced modern Asian television, none have carried that quiet electricity quite like Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Their story began as characters trapped in the whirlwind of young love, but somewhere along the way, it became harder to tell where the acting ended and the feeling began. This is the story of two souls who met through destiny's script and may have rewritten their own. 7 moments, 7 signs. Each one a whisper, a heartbeat, a clue that maybe, just maybe, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue were never just friends. It began on the set of Meteor Garden. He was new to fame, tall, magnetic, his energy untamed. She was gentle yet fierce, with a kind of quiet radiance that lingered long after she walked off set. When Dylan Wang first met Shen Yue, the chemistry was instant, effortless, and startlingly real. During screen tests, their eyes locked, and for a fleeting second, it wasn't acting, it was instinct. Directors noticed it, the crew felt it, and the world would soon see it. As the camera rolled, their fictional love story unfolded, but it was the in-between moments, the ones never scripted, that told the truer story. Shared laughter after a missed line, a glance too long, a silence that said more than dialogue ever could. Something was different about them. Behind the camera, their connection deepened. During long shooting days, Dylan was protective, playful, always finding reasons to make her smile. Shen Yue, in turn, had a way of softening him, of grounding his restless charm. There's one clip that fans still talk about. Dylan, mid-scene, lifts Shen Yue effortlessly into his arms, spinning her around in laughter. It wasn't in the script. It wasn't for the camera. It was pure, unfiltered joy. Their behind-the-scenes chemistry felt uncontainable, as if their characters had spilled out of the story and followed them into reality. Every shared glance became a rumor, every touch a headline. But the truth hid in the subtleties, in the way they looked at each other when they thought no one was watching. When they appeared together again on the variety show The Inn, Season 2, fans saw something impossible to ignore. This wasn't a drama. There were no lines to memorize, no romantic cues to follow. Yet the energy between them still shimmered. In one episode, Shen Yue caught a chill after filming in the cold. Dylan noticed immediately, wrapping her in a blanket, gently scolding her for not taking care of herself. Later that night, when she appeared tired, he cooked for her, hovering near, his concern unspoken but undeniable. Their laughter echoed through that show like a memory, warm, spontaneous, intimate. It wasn't just performance. It was companionship. Every touch, every shared glance carried a familiarity that only two people deeply comfortable with each other could share. As their fame grew, Dylan and Shen Yue found themselves constantly under the spotlight, and yet, somehow, their quiet moments together felt untouched by fame. At one awards ceremony, as Shen Yue walked onto the stage, cameras caught Dylan watching her, not with the gaze of a co-star, but with the quiet awe of someone who sees more than beauty, someone who sees meaning. His expression softened, his smile subtle but undeniable. It was a fleeting moment, but it sent the world into a frenzy. At another event, Shen Yue stumbled slightly on stage, and before anyone else could react, Dylan reached out, steadying her with a hand on her back. She turned, eyes locking with his, the hint of a smile passing between them. Just 2 seconds, but those 2 seconds spoke volumes. As the years went on, whispers began to grow. Fans claimed to have seen them dining quietly at a secluded restaurant. Others reported airport sightings, flights that mysteriously aligned, destinations that overlapped. There were matching outfits, shared accessories, parallel Instagram captions, coincidences too frequent to dismiss. Yet, neither Dylan nor Shen Yue ever confirmed or denied the rumors. Their silence became its own kind of message. Because sometimes the loudest answers are the ones never spoken. During interviews, they never spoke openly of each other's private lives, but their words carried weight. Shen Yue once described Dylan as someone who has the kind of heart that surprises you when you least expect it. Her tone was gentle, her smile nostalgic, as though recalling moments unseen by the public. Dylan, too, when asked about his ideal type, once said he admired someone who laughs easily, who doesn't pretend, who feels like home. It didn't take long for fans to draw the connection. Every word they spoke about one another seemed threaded with memory, the kind that only exists when something real has been shared. Years have passed since their first on-screen pairing, but their names still linger in the same breath. Their chemistry, immortalized on film, continues to ripple through time. Even as they take on new roles, even as they walk separate paths, the question remains, was their story ever truly over? When they reunite for events, the spark still flickers. The glances, the laughter, the comfort that never seems to fade. It is as though fate keeps pulling them into the same orbit, no matter how far they drift. To this day, their connection feels unfinished, like a story that paused, not ended. And maybe that is what makes it so powerful. In the end, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue have never needed to confirm anything. The truth of their bond is not in headlines or statements, it's in the way they inhabit each other's silences. What they share may not fit the definition of romance or friendship as the world understands it. It exists somewhere in between, in that delicate, unspoken space where two people simply know. Maybe it was love. Maybe it still is. What is certain is this. Long after the cameras stopped rolling, the story of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue continues, not in scripts or social media posts, but in the hearts of millions who watch them fall into a connection too sincere to be manufactured. Because sometimes the truest love stories are not told, they are felt. And this one, the quiet symphony of Dylan and Shen Yue, will echo long after the spotlight fades. In the end, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue have never needed to confirm anything. The truth of their bond is not in headlines or statements, it's in the way they inhabit each other's silences. What they share may not fit the definition of romance or friendship as the world understands it. It exists somewhere in between, in that delicate, unspoken space where two people simply know. Maybe it was love. Maybe it still is. What is certain is this. Long after the cameras stopped rolling, the story of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue continues, not in scripts or social media posts, but in the hearts of millions who watch them fall into a connection too sincere to be manufactured. Because sometimes the truest love stories are not told, they are felt. And this one, the quiet symphony of Dylan and Shen Yue, will echo long after the spotlight fades. What made it all the more magnetic was their denial, not through words but through smiles. Every time rumors surfaced, Dylan and Shen Yue would meet them with playful ambiguity. "We're just good friends," he'd say with a knowing smirk. "He's like family," she'd respond with eyes that told another story. It was a dance, deliberate, delicate, and endlessly captivating. But what if friendship is simply the first language of love? What if what we saw between them wasn't scripted affection, but something blooming quietly, stubbornly beyond the camera's reach? Over time, fans began to notice the subtle ways they protected each other. Dylan, quick to defend her from harsh comments. Shen Yue, unafraid to call him out, but always with warmth that betrayed affection. They knew each other's rhythms, the way two souls do when they've walked side by side long enough to share not just space, but heartbeat. And then there were the reunions. Every time fate, or perhaps destiny, brought them back together for a project or event, that spark reignited as though no time had passed. Teasing, laughter, the quiet stares that said, "I still remember." It was as if the universe kept pulling them back, weaving their names together in ways too perfect to ignore. Perhaps their story isn't one of declarations, but of moments. Not grand confessions, but glances and gestures that have said what words never could. In an industry built on illusion, Dylan and Shen Yue remind us that the truest things are often the quietest. Hidden in the space between a smile and a sigh. Because maybe, just maybe, friendship was only the beginning. Friendship was only the beginning.